The Courting by Meinekeime. Chapter 21, Toppy. Draco's point of view. Mom, I can do this by myself. I'm a grown man. I shushed my mother out of my room and closed it with 5 different spells and a password. I knew she just wanted to help, but I needed to do this alone. I had gotten a letter from Harry stating that my Christmas present, a letter collector and organizer, would take away a lot of his daily work. The collector picked up each letter and sorted it with the oldest on the bottom, so it would drop down when you say, "Next, please." I need to check if I was still on the favorites list, and there I was, in the middle. I knew there would be men that were better than me at the moment, but some of them were brand new additions, and time has shown that many of them disappear after 2 months, so I wasn't too worried. What had me distressed was next week's challenge. After informing me, and all the other suitors for sure, that his groups of suitors had shrunk down to 100 persons, after many of them didn't send a Christmas gift or made no move to help him on the Christmas party. He told me what he expected from me this month. A date. I needed to fix some restrictions. We only had 3.5 hours together. There should be no time restrictions for it, but only in the morning or afternoon. No dangerous activities, and there must be a place for other persons to be near. And he wanted an answer tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. sharp. Fuck. I need to figure out this quick. I need to do something with him, and that I like to do, too. And we could talk at the same time, so reading together was out of the picture, and the movies was too muggle. Minnie would take him on a picnic and would receive negative points for it. "Master, your tea is ready," I heard Toppy say. She stood on my desk and placed my tea down from her tray. I tried to put my head away from the classic ideas, so I looked at Toppy a little, hoping to get an innovative idea. She wore her light pink rug, matching the bow in her hair. It was rather attached to her head. She wasn't much different from other house elves her age. She wasn't from a breeding farm, but a child of 2 house elves of father's friend. For her breed, it was normal that the children didn't live in the same household as their parents to ensure variations in genetics. In some weeks, the dating season for house elves would start. Yes, dating, not mating. Normally, house elves date and mate in their own households, but some families like mine only had one. So the House Elf Council organized some sort of speed dating between working, lonely house elves and free-living ones. This year, Toppy was old enough to take part in these meetings. I wouldn't demand from her to find a partner immediately. She was still young, but it would be nice if she found one in the next 5 or so years, so that we could get another house elf in the house by child swapping. House elves children leave the house by the age of 10 to serve in other houses, and the children of those house elves will live in the house of the first elves. So we wouldn't rely on those horrid breeding factories. We had had many bad experiences with those. Some years ago, when Toppy had been little still, her elder in the house died, so we needed to buy someone to teach her from the breeding farm. The elf was called Dobby, and the life in a dark room, bunched together and forced to do hard work each day, had taken a toll on him. He was wishing for freedom. I later found out something that went against house elf nature. He also got himself into trouble and only reacted to harsh words and discipline. Thankfully, he was freed when I was 13. And then we were back to one elf. But Toppy managed good. She had always been a rather grown-up and motherly person, and that would bring her a lot of admirers this year. "Is something wrong, Master?" Toppy asked, and pulled me out of my thoughts. "No, Toppy, everything is fine. You are dismissed. Do with the rest of the afternoon whatever you please," I told her, and her mouth formed a smile. Even though she was a work-loving house elf, Dobby had rubbed off on her somehow, and she liked to have some time off of working sometimes, just cleaning her own room, lounging around, and talking to some of the paintings. She had especially taken an interest in a painting of a group of house elves from the 18th century, and she would have regular talks with them. It had startled us at first, but we hung the picture up in her room so she could talk with them about everything she needed to let out. They were somewhat of a family to her. I sipped my tea and looked out the window. I could take Harry flying, but nobody could follow us, at least not Neville. I could show him my garden, but that was just another version of a picnic idea, as was taking him to the sea. I knew Harry enjoyed little things, with an occasional big one, and I had tried to have basic ideas with a little twist. I bit into my croissant. When I got the idea, I knew what I could do with Harry, and I just started planning every detail. End of chapter 21.